Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Underneath the Hood. I'm Dave Martin, the owner of Martin's Auto Repair in Central Phoenix.
I'm Glen Hayward, the proud owner of Goodworks Auto Repair in sunny Tempe, Arizona.
And I'm Lee Weatherby with Accurate Automotive in the heart of Mesa.
And together, we represent 140 years of combined automotive experience.
Our goal is to change the perception of our auto repair industry by going behind the scenes and underneath the hood.
And we hope to share with you what it's like to own a small business and give you a perspective from an insider's point of view.
So let's get started. Good morning, Lee, and good morning, Glenn. What are you guys doing today?
Buenos dias.
Oh, geez, here we go.
I had to throw a monkey wrench into the gearbox, right?
Dave, I'm doing well.
Great.
Very well, in fact. You know what I mean? It's coming up on Thanksgiving.
You don't want to speak a foreign language too? Or,
No, sir. I don't know any. I don't know any.
You don't know any?
Yeah, I'm not bilingual.
Bilingual.
Yeah.
A famous somebody once said, "It's a great day, and then you die." So there we go.
It's a great day, and then you die. That's really, really
motivating. I have a different.
Very motivating.
I have a different perspective on that. It's a great day. Make the most of it.
There you go.
Yeah, I think that's a little more motivating than
That
what
is
you came up
better.
with.
Well,
I didn't say that's not my personal.
I would
belief.
rather.
That's
I would rather live by that.
I'm with you on that one, Lee. I think I'll keep your quote and flush yours down the toilet.
So what are we going to talk about today, Dave?
Well, you know what? First of all, we got to do a day in history because you're this like history buff kind of guy that likes to talk about.
I'm a historical.
Back in the day
genius.
when you were a kid, in the 1800s.
Yeah, something like that.
There we go.
Yeah, I am a couple of years older than my cohorts over
They
there.
called you blacksmiths back in those
There
days.
we go.
You fixed covered wagons.
That's right. And we did a damn good job at it, too. All right, so here's the deal. What are my choices? That's our subject matter for today. On November 11th of 1921, on this day, the world's first traffic jam happened in Washington, D.C. on Armistice Day. It lasted for 3 hours and involved 3,000 vehicles. The jam began as a procession of world leaders led by President Warren G. Harding drove from the U.S. Capitol to Arlington National Cemetery to bury the unknown soldier.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, really
That's amazing that there was that big of a following, that they had a major traffic jam that lasted for 3 hours because they went to bury the unknown soldier.
Well,
Pretty
and
cool.
that's 1921. You know what? I think that's great. It's patriotic, and I think it shows great appreciation, and we should be appreciative of, our armed forces and the people who protect us and give us the freedoms and rights that, we profess to work for. They've really put it on the line for us.
I'm wondering if in 21,
Amen.
some of those vehicles were horse-drawn carriages too. I mean, it says vehicles, but the horse-drawn carriage is a vehicle too. It just had a horse in front of it instead of horsepower under the hood.
No, and 3,000
Doesn't say
3,000 plus. That's a lot. So that's, like I say, but I say here to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you got a quote of the day for us?
Oh, I do. It's interesting because I like this. It's from Carroll Shelby. I think we all know who that is. I've always been asked
Tell our listeners who it is real quick.
Carroll Shelby was. I tell you what, he was a car manufacturer maker. He made the Shelby Mustang in partnership with Ford. And I will tell you what, if you want to see a great expose on Carroll Shelby, Ford versus Ferrari is a movie that's out, and it's really good.
Great movie.
Expose on Carroll Shelby and who he is, and some of the foundational things. You can't always believe everything you see in a movie. This one's pretty close to the vest. And
his thing was mostly performance, though, right?
He
was
to
always
this day,
about
they
performance.
still have a Shelby
He was a
Mustang.
racer. Yeah,
he was a racer, right?
He was a racer.
Yeah. So it was
car enthusiast.
So basically, he would take a regular Ford Mustang and turn it into a really fast car.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like nowadays, you get Lingenfelter and all those guys that, you know what I mean? They want to upscale a manufactured automobile, making it into a supercar.
Yeah, right.
So that's what would happen.
Yeah.
But it says, his quote was, "I've always been asked, what is my favorite car?" I love this response. "I've always said the next one."
Right.
Love that.
Love
That's
that.
awesome.
That is awesome. The one I'm going to be getting.
Yeah, right.
That's my favorite one.
Absolutely.
The Shelby Cobra was his, trademark.
You bet.
Of greatness. And
You bet.
Amazing car.
You know what? But he did so much more than just that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Built some really, really, really fine automobiles and partnered with, people to do some really unique things, very innovative, for his day. So
in his day, those cars were like way ahead of their time. I mean, it was
they
amazing
really were.
that the technology that they put in them, the way they build them, the speeds that they got out of them.
You bet.
I mean, those cars would fly.
You bet.
It was amazing.
They would.
Well, guys, our topic today is choices.
Choices.
You know what? And I think in the world we live in today, I think sometimes we have too many choices, and I think that's why people can't ever make up their mind.
I couldn't agree with you more.
And it's like
it's more confusing than it is helpful to have all these
1,000%.
choices. It just throws a monkey wrench into the gearbox, as we used to say. It's ridiculous.
Well, in the old days, you know what I mean? And I'm talking now just specifically pertaining to cars, but let's think about it. Our dad, or at least my dad, when he would take the old family cruiser and go to get it repaired, he wasn't bombarded with 35 different choices of what to do. He, needed brake pads and there was one set available. He needed this and there was one set available. He needed spark plugs and there was one set available.
And then the aftermarket came along.
Well, I think what happened is, and yes, exactly, Glenn. What happened is the aftermarket came along, and then people started, thinking, how could we sell more product, and how can we get everything today seems to be about price point, and I think
performance,
right?
Performance too. That's another thing that sells.
But that means, and that's kind of sad in a way, because that means, to the forefront, quality didn't go first. It was price point and performance. It wasn't about quality. And see, quality was always the standard in that day. Nowadays, it's about, I've got choices. A lot of times you hear these terms, good, better, best, and what do they mean? And so I think a lot of times it's important to make sure that people realize that they're going to have to place some trust in the professionals that they're working with, guys like ourselves, and making sure that they're not overthinking it, because nowadays, you can go on the internet and I mean, how many times do we hear, well, I can get this part for that.
Yeah. Well,
what kind of research did you do on that?
But what you're talking about is real life experience.
Absolutely.
After working on literally thousands of cars, all of us, not collectively, but individually at shops, we've all worked on literally thousands of cars over our long history of being in business, and there's always someone out there who's building a cheaper, less expensive product, but they've proven themselves to be a cheaper, less quality product as well. And those aren't the kind of products that I want to install on someone's vehicle, because I wouldn't put them on my own.
That's the big key.
And that's how all of us here at this table in any quality shop, that's how we measure whether something is of good quality or not. And sometimes we use ourselves as the crash dummy or the tester of these parts. We put them on just to see.
We've had to try some of those less quality products.
And, like brakes, for instance, who wants to take a chance on putting cheap brakes on their car? I don't, but sometimes we put them on, we drive them for a while, and then we see how they perform. Do they squeak, screech, squeal? Do they have the same stopping capacity? And we find out that, hey, these cheap products just don't have it.
Yeah.
And then I'm putting it on a customer's car, and then there's this liability in the back of your mind. I don't like to offer, in some cases, good, better, best. The consumers insist on it. I don't stock those products. In fact, I don't stock anything until someone says, this is what I want, right? But we always recommend at least something in between the cheapest and the best if they're looking for something that is a little bit more moderate on their
and we stand behind our
budget.
Work. We stand behind our work, and we make sure we warranty it. So we don't want to put something on your car that
I know is going to fail, and I'm going to end up replacing it for free.
And not to mention just the inconvenience for the client. And we've all been doing this a long time. Sometimes people will say, well,
I'm selling my car tomorrow.
And that never happens.
It never happens. 5 years later, they're still driving the same car that they buffaloed you into putting a cheap part on.
Well, and to my point is that they want the cheaper part, but we know that this cheaper part is going to give them problems.
Well, because to your point, Dave, time is money.
Time is money.
Absolutely. Time is money.
Yep,
and this is the part that's so frustrating, is how many times have you had somebody come in and they'll say, hey, listen, I saw that, I can get this part, for this cost
on Amazon,
and on Amazon
somewhere.
or online.
And most of the time it's the wrong part anyway.
Well, that's true. That's true. But I mean, just going back to the basics, without that even being one of the factors, which is probably one of the priority factors,
Right, yeah.
is what other research did you do on that product other than just to find out what the cost was? And the thing of it is, see, I don't want to get engaged into a cost war or a price war about, what we're going to put on your vehicle, because if you want me to lower my standard, I'm not interested in working on your vehicle, because the problem is there's a reason why we use a standard quality product, and that we have a standard of quality that has to be met before we even start looking at price.
Well, and this is one of the things we do really well, and I know all three of us do it, is we have to educate the customer. Because a lot of times what happens is the client doesn't know what to ask for.
Right.
So price is the one thing that they everywhere they go, price is always something that people ask. So it's just a standard thing in their head. Yeah. But you and all three of us know that price isn't always the cheapest, isn't always the best,
right?
And
it's not always the worst either,
right? No, I was just going to say, and sometimes the most expensive part
isn't always the best either.
Yeah, sometimes we've had problems with them.
It's already been proven and failed. So, we see them come in all the time, and it's like, we need to look for another brand that's quality, and that's on us to really do that, to do our research to find out what company is making quality parts. And what used to be some of the brands that we trusted and knew for 20 or 30 years isn't owned by the same company anymore. Yeah. It's still branded the same way.
Even that'll change.
What's in that box or in that bag or whatever the thing comes in is definitely not the same quality as what it used to be.
Amen.
And that actually happened to us a few years back, where we had bought in a certain product and we knew it. The brand worked great. It was awesome. And then all of a sudden, we had 5 of them in a row.
Yeah,
that failed.
And you think this is a fluke? It's got to be a fluke. Well, then you install another one, the same doggone thing.
Then you find out that not even the same company is owned by that.
No. What happened was the same company owned it, but guess what they did?
They moved their manufacturing.
They moved the plant.
Yeah,
to a foreign country. We won't mention which ones, because there's multiple.
That's immaterial.
That's immaterial, and they all have their problems. But my point is that just something as stupid and crazy as that, where you didn't even know, but they moved their plant to another country. It's like, so you don't, but when you start to have those pattern failures, and the good part about it is all three of us have been in this business a long time. We pick up the phone and call each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm like, hey, Lee, have you had a problem with this product? And yep, I'm having a bunch of them come back. Okay. Well, we all know it, right?
Yeah.
And so and I always drag the manufacturer reps out to my
You
shop.
bet.
And I say, hey guys, man, we got a problem. And if they tell me, well, it must be isolated because we're not having it anywhere else, I'm going, I got
my BS
hang on a minute.
My BS meter just blew up.
Let me get Lee on the phone.
Yeah. I got four shops you can call that'll tell you that's not isolated. It's a problem. So I mean, they all have their issues, and I'm not bagging on them or anything like that. But I'm just saying that yes, we went through the school of hard knocks.
You bet.
And then sometimes, how many times have your tech brought a part into you
right out of the box?
Out of the box. No, but like a part that, this part weighs, let's say 20 pounds, and this part weighs about 10 pounds. And my guy bring it in, he'd go like, are you sure you want me to put this part on there?
Yeah.
And we start to look at how it was engineered and how it was made, and then how it fits.
Right.
And none of that lines up.
Absolutely.
So my guys are like, I don't know, I'm kind of scared of this. And when it doesn't fit the way it's supposed to fit,
yep,
you don't make it fit.
You don't make it fit.
Because other than that, you're always going to have a problem. It's going to come back and haunt you at some point.
Well, you just bought a big problem.
And to the point is, I believe that choices are a great thing, and we need. I appreciate having choices, but I also appreciate, just to your point, education and understanding why the choice that I make will give me a good return. You know what I mean? On what I'm doing. So here's the key. I call that return on relationship. You know what I mean? Where when you can trust somebody, goes back to what I was talking about at the beginning. If you can trust somebody, because you can't always trust what you're reading on the internet, even. You know what I mean? Let's face it. Well, no, some of the things are
because they're paid by sponsors
who
who
they're all contradicting each other.
To some degree.
Yeah.
To some degree. But I mean, it really pays to have somebody that you can trust, you can appreciate, you can ask questions of. But I mean, for example, there's some very basic and simple things that go in cars, and I think we should probably highlight maybe just a few of them.
Well, and
like,
I got a list here, and you kind of beat me to the punch, which is great. But so let's start by some of the things that people have a lot of choices for. When you go into like a parts store, for instance, you can go in a parts store and fluids. Let's start there. So fluids, you go in the parts store and there is 50 different fluids.
Yeah.
And which one do you pick?
Well, okay. So I would just say this, that the easiest way to describe this without going into a long dissertation is you have to know the year of the vehicle, you have to know the make and model, and you have to know what the requirements are for the car. Because older cars, a lot of those 50 products, you could use any one of them and not have any problem. You know what I mean? They were kind of one size fit all. One size fit all worked back then.
Yeah.
But now with the way things have changed, there's very specific things that are required in the fluids that are being used. Let's talk about coolants. You can put the wrong coolant in some cars, and it will actually deteriorate, all right, the cooling system.
The metals don't mesh with it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
There's some that you could put the wrong coolant in, and it will slow the car down. The vehicle will not be able to perform at its normal function. The key to it is that you have to be able to put the right product. I mean, listen, I can give you just one quick example. Let's look at some of the Chrysler products that are out today. Now they have two different styles of Chrysler coolants. One's a 5-year, one's a 10-year. Massive difference in the two coolants. Look like the same jug. But if you put the 5-year and the 10-year, you literally, all right, have just voided the warranties, okay? And they can tell, all right, because it's nothing more than a little simple metallurgy test, all right? And or you will slow down the way that the vehicle operates in some of the Hemis and stuff like that. It's just incredible, you guys, to know Toyotas, they require specific oils, you know what I mean, to be utilized. And now, I mean, some of the cars now that we're using 0W20 type of synthetic.
016.
Now 016.
They're down to
now they're
08
going
now.
to 08s.
08.
And I mean, it's fascinating because, listen, you make a mistake and you put a 530 oil in something like that. Okay, you can do that short term. You can get away with that for let's call it a one service interval because it was a mistake. Or if you're in a desperate area where you can't get that component, you can't leave it in there because it plugs up. Oh, the orifices. I mean, the size of this pinhead is about the capacity for where some of these things are flowing now.
Well, and the tolerances in these motors are so tight. Back in the day, we used to put motor honey, 2050 and motor honey in there. And the motor honey, you had to put it in a microwave in order to heat it up so you could pour it in the car.
Exactly.
And it was so thick, right? And this is what we used to do to lubricate the motors. But the tolerance is so tight.
motor honey.
Yeah,
it was crazy. And now the tolerances are so tight that thicker fluid doesn't get in there to lubricate. The thinner fluid is
you're tearing your motor up.
Yeah, tearing the motor up.
Yeah.
So that's a huge change in difference. And to your point, when you go into a shop and have them change your oil in your car, make sure that they put what the manufacturer recommends.
The proper recommended fluid. Yeah. I'll give you a classic example, guys. And this, people got to know this. Ford has come out with a fluid, UHV, for their transmissions. You have to wear gloves to handle it. It'll physically burn. It's the only fluid that I know of that we have in our shop that has a skull and crossbones on it. And simply what it tells you is how to handle it, how to use it, but it has to be specific for those 8-speed transmissions, you know what I mean, and how it's got to be utilized. Because what it does, it has some chemicals in it. We talked on an earlier podcast about the uniqueness and how everybody wants to have a unique thing. Well, this fluid is unique to that particular vehicle based on some of the things that are in the valve body that allow them to be able to operate the way that they're supposed to.
Right. Well, actually, Ford bought the copyright or whatever to the transmissions that GM has been having all these failures.
I believe it.
Using that 8-speed transmission, just garbage. But they do. And Mopar came out with a new transmission a few years ago that I think it's a 9-speed. And you have to use special fluid in that. So you put regular transmission fluid in it and it blows up. You just voided the warranty and you owe your customer a transmission.
And so choices are limited simply by what, even though, like you say, Dave, you got 50 on the shelf. The first question is, what kind of car do you drive? What year is it? And let's look at what is required to go into that vehicle.
Right. What is the proper fluid?
Yeah.
Well,
Because that's going to limit your choices just that quick.
Transmission is a
Huge.
good one. You guys brought that up.
Huge.
The thing of it is we had a car in our shop a few months ago where the person had changed the fluid in the vehicle, and it developed a shifting problem. Well, we found out that this particular transmission takes a really special fluid, and we ended up buying it from the dealer. Just couldn't get it aftermarket.
Right.
And we ended up buying it from the dealer to put it in there, and the shifting problem went away. But they were fortunate because they could have done damage to the transmission.
Absolutely.
So the thing of it is it's and let me tell you, that's the reason why you have to be in a shop that's on top of their game, that has the technology, that has the ability to know what the right fluid is in your vehicle.
Amen.
Other than that, you can do engine damage, and you can do catastrophic damage to where an oil change, and an $80 oil change
Supposed to be a basic service.
could cost you $8,000 to fix. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Or a new car.
Or a new car. Yeah. So you got to be you really on the choices. And when you're going into these, if you're going to a parts store to get that information,
Gosh, be careful.
you know what? Be careful. Do your own homework.
Yeah,
Do your own
please.
research, please. Or call your shop. I mean, if one of my clients is stuck somewhere and they need to get some fluid, they'll call me and they'll say, "Hey, I need to put some fluid in my car," and I'll get it. They'll get the car over to us later, but they're kind of in a bad situation and they're stuck, and so we advise them and tell them what to do.
Dave, what a great resource, because that's the thing. Guys, we're great resources. And you know what? Please understand, you can always use us as a resource, but don't make the mistake of just, oh, well, this guy told me I can do this, and so I'm going to just go ahead and do that. I mean, guys, there's so many other things, but let's talk about spark plugs for a second. I mean, how many different varieties and
just because it fits doesn't mean it's
well, just because they sell it, it's in a box, doesn't mean we should put it in the car.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No kidding.
And I just want to hit something. The notion, I mean, please just, if everybody could just take a minute and, take a step back in time. Good, better, best. What does that even mean? Good, better, best. So if you're telling
marketing.
me, yeah, it is marketing. That's all it is. Because if you're saying, well, I have a choice of a good product or a better product or the best product, intuitively, I just automatically go, well, what if there's a good product, can I use that? Because if there's a better product than a good product, maybe I want to go better. And if it's the best product, shouldn't that be the one that I use? And the key to it is, it all boils down to, what is the product that is the right one to fit my car? And here's the thing. There's probably a couple choices within that range, but good never is going to be one of them. Good is an inferior quality line based just predominantly on price.
It should say good enough in parentheses.
It's good enough. Well, that might be really good that you said that, Glenn, because I think that's apropos. But
good
listen,
enough, it fits. It might work the first time you use it, but in the long run, it's going to leave you stranded.
It might work for a short period of time.
Right, and then we're talking about longevity too. I mean, obviously nobody wants car problems.
Right.
So you want to, when it comes to, and we all do this, we all pick the quality parts because we let our customers know we got a warranty. It's number one. Number two, we don't want you broke down on the side of the road cussing us out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we want to make sure that we put the quality parts in their car.
Well, we have to talk to people every day about
and
return
some
on
of these
investment.
parts take hours to install.
Oh, no question.
So why would you even mess around with a good or even a better?
And to your point,
you're talking about a 10-hour job, and you're going to put a good thing on there.
Got to pull the intake manifold off to put a starter in the car.
God truth, like timing chains on the Fords. If you're not using the OES, which means the original equipment
OEM
service
product,
one,
yeah.
You are going to have problems. You're going to spend $10,000 in parts and labor to put something together.
That's the second time after you spend it once.
And shortly
but
after.
You're faster the second time.
But doesn't matter. You get to pay the same price.
And shortly after it's done, you're going to have engine failure.
Yeah.
The thing is never going to run right. And now, because you got the opportunity to choose, the question should be, Mr. Shop Owner or Mr. Service Provider, which one would you use in your vehicle?
There you go.
Not what should I use? Should I pick A, B, or C? Because if we make the choice for them, in terms of
boils down to education again, though. Be careful, because it boils down to education.
Right.
Because sometimes we have to make the choice for customers. Going back to what we said in the very beginning, there's so many choices that sometimes
selling the car
disables
tomorrow, then you
people
can use
from
this.
making a choice.
If you're going to keep this car for 5 or 10 years until it has 300,000 miles on it, put the highest quality thing you can and keep it running. Put the stuff that is equal to or is actually the original equipment part in there.
I agree with
But
that.
I'll tell you too, and I think you'll all agree. Some of the OES parts are junk.
That's absolutely right. And
Both,
and
you know,
some things
Chrysler, Ford,
Yeah.
GM, whoever it is, they have built parts that they wish they'd never created because they are junk.
Well, design issues.
know.
There's all kinds of. Well, let's move on real quick here because we got to get through this segment here. But the battery, just because so back in the day, and we talked about this a little bit off air. Back in the day, a battery, you could put probably, I don't know, 6 different types of batteries in
One
the
of
car.
10, yeah.
The trays were huge. There's a lot of room. But anymore, you have the room there, and these batteries are getting designed, and they got indents in them, they got curves in them.
Yeah.
They're not. They don't. None
High
of them look the
post,
same.
low post.
Yeah, they don't look the same. So what happens
Side
is
post,
if you
no
don't-
post.
if you
no
don't-
pose.
if you don't put that same battery that fits in there, you ain't going to get anything else to fit in there. But the caveat to that is that a cheaper battery, number one, is made totally different. The plates inside are different.
You bet.
Also, the cold cranking amps is really important.
Which is huge.
Right. Well, it's just like your laptop computer.
Yeah.
Cut the power to that thing and see how well it works.
And the composition of the battery internally, is it a lead acid battery? Is it an AGM battery?
Well, there's another thing.
Is it a
and
gel battery? I mean,
You bet. And it's
there are-
critical that you
It is
use
absolutely
like for
critical,
like.
because
you cannot use a
electronics-
regular
that's
glass mat
right.
battery. You know what I mean? You just cannot use a regular battery like you're saying.
Some
And a glass
batteries
mat
have to
battery
have
problem.
breather tubes on them that
Absolutely.
that exit the gases that are coming out of that battery
they're
to
in
the
the back
outside
seat.
of the
They're
car.
in the back seat of the car.
You're in the back seat of the car.
You don't want that acid all in the car.
You don't want to be
It
smelling
could
that.
start your car on fire.
That's right.
It literally could. Those vapors coming out of that battery will get up into the upholstery and it can start a fire.
Right.
bet.
So
You bet.
so it's really important that you buy a really good battery. And we didn't even mention this, but we're in Arizona.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hotter than you know what here.
It
And the
is.
thing of it is that if I guarantee that
Dave, we
first
live on the
thing-
surface of the sun
Pretty
for
much.
3 months of the year.
closer to down there.
No.
It's our version of Mars on the Earth.
But the point is that first hot day. How many times do you get those phone calls on that first hot day if the battery on that thing is weak?
Yeah.
If the battery's weak, that car's not going to start that first hot day.
That's
and
correct.
that's what happens. So
That's correct.
it's really important here in Arizona, number one, to make sure you get your battery checked on a regular basis. Number one. Number two,
Use a quality product.
Use the quality product.
Yeah.
That's
and,
exactly.
and unfortunately, I mean, and this is another thing that can be so confusing for the consumer, is that there are so many products out there, but there's very few that are actually meet the line of quality. There's a lot of choices, but good choices. We should probably qualify it with good choices. In order to make good choices, you have to understand the foundation of, the product that you're using in the specific environment you're using it in. We're in a very, very, extreme weather climate. You have to use, I would highly suggest you use a good quality product. And there's a few of those. So it really, limits your choices down to a couple, making a couple good things. Do I want to use this product or do I want to use that product? You can go like for like, and especially in the newer cars. But at the same token, you got to make sure that you don't just, sometimes always go on the recommendation of whatever the parts guy is telling you because he wants to sell that
Well,
product.
and you want to talk to the people that are installing these parts. Because sometimes
Absolutely.
another thing too
Absolutely.
is we didn't even really talk about this, but sometimes these parts you almost have to make them fit.
You bet.
And you know what?
You bet.
That's
not how a part should fit.
That's not how a part should fit.
No.
Now, I mean, there has been some older cars where you can't get another part for it.
Right.
So guess what? You're stuck with this, and you have to make it fit. And believe me,
Motor mounts are a perfect example of that.
My technicians, they
We will
motor
not-
mounts, power steering hoses. Sometimes they don't fit right, and so what happens is you got a technician that's now not happy.
Right.
He's kind of ticked off because he's spending the next half an hour, 45 minutes trying to make a part fit, which is ridiculous. So
But think about it. Then they get it in, and then all of a sudden you got a vibration issue
Oh,
that you didn't
yeah,
have
you got
before
another- yeah,
because it
another problem.
didn't fit properly.
yeah.
You've created a problem.
Well, how about
Didn't do that before you worked on it.
That's
It was
it.
just broken before. Now it vibrates.
how about tires?
You know what? Here's the thing. Tires, basically, people need to understand there are some very great tires. There's some good off-brand tires.
Do we all sell tires here, by the way?
Absolutely.
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. But here's the thing. Tires are really a choice that people want to make because nowadays almost all tires are up to the manufacturer specification for weight loads and capacities. What they don't take into account is environment. What are they going to be used for? Do you want to use an all-terrain tire or do you want to use a highway tread tire? In this case, good, better, best is really kind of deceiving, because what it means is entry level. That's what they like to call it. Entry level tire, meaning inexpensive. You know what I mean? Generally some off brands, not names you hear a lot, going into what we're going to call the mid-grade tires. You know what I mean? And then your highlights. You know what I mean?
Well, and
Everybody
also
knows-
you gotta look at your environment too. Where
That's
where
what
are
I
you
said.
at? First of
That's
all,
the-
how hot are those roads out there?
Our roads
Bingo.
are 400
Yeah,
degrees.
Bingo.
Right.
That's what I said.
Yeah,
They don't take into account the
Right,
environment.
right, and we all know when you're driving down the freeway and you start to see what we call the rubber carcasses
You
from
bet,
the tires.
you
Guess
bet.
what? It's on a hot day,
Yeah.
and those tires come apart.
You bet.
And so you want to make sure that you buy a quality tire, because there's nothing worse when those things come apart. They do so much damage, and we've all seen it where the fenders damn near ripped off the car. It's done electrical damage.
You can destroy a car.
Oh, you're
You can
talking
destroy a car.
thousands of dollars, not just the replacement of the tire. It's all the destruction. Inner
bet.
fender well, outer fender well.
You bet.
Sometimes they take your mirror off the side. They slap the driver's door. Body work is incredibly expensive these days. Paint is like $400 or $500 a gallon to the buyers of the body shops. Then when they apply it to your car,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, just
Time
the
and a half
paint
or
jobs
doubles.
alone can be
Yeah.
over $1,000, $2,000 to repair the damage from a cheap tire because of a cheap tire that you bought.
And I think our listeners get the point here. Is the thing of it is what we're trying to do is we're trying to educate a little bit and let you know that sometimes the price isn't
The price
it's not the best value.
It can't be the factor
Yeah.
that you're basing your decision on.
Right.
You know, use the education. Trust your provider. That's the
Well,
big
and
idea.
first of all, look for the information.
Yes.
Talk to the people that are installing this.
Yes.
Talk to the people that are working on these cars, because those are the ones that are going to tell you what you shouldn't do and what you should do, because they've already made that
We
mistake.
sell
And-
these,
and-
sell these, but we wouldn't put them on our own car.
Well, see,
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
no, and I really
mean,
like that. That's what I was just getting ready to say. I really like what you said. I wouldn't use this on my own car. I'm not going to put it
I
on
wouldn't
yours.
put my kids in the back seat of this car with
There you
these
go.
tires on it, you
There you
know.
go.
And it's not a scare tactic to make them make more, because there's not a lot of profit in tires.
No.
There is
We don't make
not.
money on tires.
We're competing with, you know, discount tire and these national brands,
And we don't sell that
Costco
many
and everybody
tires.
else.
Yeah, we sell
Sam's
Not
Club
enough to make
and all.
a volume.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. So
profit.
we're not in it for the money. We want to put you in a safe tire, and I'll guarantee you, there's not a privately owned shop in here that is killing it on tires.
Right.
There's not a lot of money in tires because of the competition that's out there.
Right.
Now, in the other arenas of repairs and products and things like that, yes, there's some profit. There's more margin of profit there. But in tires, it's not. So when we recommend a tire for you, we want you and your family to be safe. We understand the conditions in which we drive. People move here from out of state, and they've been using brand X tire, and we say, you know, brand X tire, you got to change tires. We want to put something on there. I mean, the tread depth on brand new tires can vary from 6 millimeters to 11.
Yeah.
Same size tire, same everything, but the tread depth, the composition of the tire, what kind of rubber are they using, what's the steel belting
Make
on
that
there?
mistake once on an all-wheel drive vehicle, and you'll pay for it dearly.
Yeah.
Well, that and also the load
Oh
rating.
yeah, having two different tread depths
Yeah,
on there,
exactly.
and it blows up the rear end.
Yeah.
The load rating on the tires is most important. On a one-ton vehicle, you're not going to put a passenger car tire on.
That's exactly right.
Because it's not going to last. It's going to blow out. It's
Exactly
not going
right.
to hold the weight. So you got to make sure that obviously you want to put the right tire on your vehicle.
Don't put trailer tires on your car.
There you go.
And
I
there's
mean,
another
people
thing.
do that. The size may be right for your car, but it says trailer tire. And on the side now, they're required for trailer use only.
Only,
right,
These
yeah.
are not made for passenger cars. I don't care how
Right.
cheap they are. You're going to blow a tire and someone's going to get hurt or worse.
Right,
I-
and there's another thing. The safety factor it's huge. So not to mention changing a tire on the side of the road sucks.
I think
So-
I think the
Yeah.
biggest thing about that I would say to this choices. Make sure you pick a choice provider and then work with that provider to
Yep.
make sure that he can help you make good choices on whatever your buying needs are, especially pertaining to your automobile.
And we know a lot about automotive, but when it comes to other things, we look for the experts.
We
Well,
do.
I mean,
do.
if I'm trying to make a decision about something that I need to buy, I need to fix, I need to do something with it, I look for the experts, and I get their advice. I figure out what they're going to do. When a plumber comes over to my house and tells me we need to do this, I'm like, okay. I mean, what? I'm not a plumber. So
Right.
you know what I mean? I
Right.
look for qualified people
Yeah.
that I know, that I trust, that I have a good relationship with, and have them take care of it.
I love it.
And that way you're, problem solved and you're moving on. So
And that's exactly what we want to do here too.
Yeah, look for Google ratings and testimonials from customers. If you're looking to find a good auto repair shop,
right there.
Look
that
for
is
longevity
a
in
great
business.
resource.
I say that all the time. I tell people, look for longevity in business. How long have they been, you know what I mean?
Yeah, why
established?
am I still here after 31 years,
Right.
or 21 years, or, how long, what kind of experience do we have? And the reviews definitely will reflect. And I'm glad that once in a while I get a crappy review by someone who's not telling us, they're just crabby people, whatever, because it just shows that, hey, we're not writing our own reviews.
Well, and
here.
sometimes we all make mistakes, and
that
I mean,
happens
we just pray that we get a little bit of grace from our clients, and you know what, and they don't blast us online, but sometimes that happens, but that in the end we want to make it right. We
That's
wanna
exactly
fix
right.
whatever the problem is, we want to make it right.
Yeah,
Well,
sometimes the first reaction of the customer who had a bad experience, well, they'll go to Google instead of calling you and saying, hey, that repair you made, now I got a leak or this is going on. They'll just blast you. Some emotional trigger went off. And we have gotten many people to take their reviews down because our intention was never to do something wrong. We made it right. We fixed the thing. And they took their bad review down. It does happen. I don't care how good.
But that's good business.
And that's great business.
That's good business.
Yeah.
That's the way it should be.
And and we're kind of off topic now, but I mean, back to the choices. You know what? We want the best. When we make choices, we want the best choice for our client.
You bet.
Because the last thing we want is them calling us with a problem.
Right.
And especially something we just worked on, we don't want to deal with that. So and it's embarrassing, number one. Number two, it's inconvenient for the customer, and it's upsetting to the customer. So we don't want to upset anybody. We want to make sure that they have a great experience at all of our shops, and so we want to make the best choice for them when we fix their car.
Agreed.
And so anyway, guys, well, you know what? It's been another great show, and I wish you guys a great day, and I look forward to the next show, man.
See, that's why I like waking up.
And
I get to make some
please
choices
get on our
during the day.
website and like us, love us, subscribe to the podcast Underneath the Hood, because we spend a lot of time putting these things together, and collectively, like I said, we have over 100 years of experience in the automotive field between the three of us, and we really want to look out for the consumer out there, because there's a lot of sharks, a lot of snakes, a lot of people, a lot of these mobile guys who are out there, here today, gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
Did a horrible repair, and you can't find them. Your number's been blocked, or
What it really boils down to is
they
you know
have
what?
6 cell phones, and you only have one number, and they see yours come up, and they ignore it.
Yeah. Well, we're still passionate about what we do. We still want to serve, our people in our community, and we still want to help you. And you know what? That brings us joy. So you know what? Like us, and you know what? That'll bring us some joy. Hopefully, we can bring you some too.
God bless you all, and take care.
Take care.
Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.
We'll see you later.